Namaste friends. Today I will look into the chart of Pawan Kalyan. He is a film star popularly known as Power Star in the two Telugu speaking states. He has been in politics for a few years and in 2019 elections he tied up with the BJP party and the local Telugu Desam party, and he did not do well at all in those elections. And I want to look at his chart and make predictions for the next two election cycles. Basically assess the potential he has. First, a few words about his birth data. His birthday is known September 2nd, but the birth year is a source of lot of confusion. Lot of popular websites mention 1971 as the birth year, but somebody from the film industry gave his chart to me, claiming that he got the data directly from him, and that mentioned 1967 as the birth year. And when I looked at his past events, like when he had hits, when he had flops, etc., using various techniques, dashas, gochar, annual charts, etc., it added up really nicely. So I was very comfortable with the data. But what really messed up things for me was in 2019, when he made a filing with the election commission, he mentioned 1968 as the birth year. So I was like, okay, if it is 1971 in the public domain and he is mentioning 1968 in the election commission, can the right one be 1967? Why, if he is anyway mentioning it a few years back, why not mention the correct year? So I was like, maybe the data I was given is wrong. So I basically never made any public predictions on Sri Pawan Kalyan's chart. But recently that confusion was cleared for me. The 1967 date has been double confirmed. So now I'm very comfortable and confident that 1967 is the correct year of birth. I have no idea why 1968 was mentioned in the election commission filing, but I will take September 2nd, 1967 as the birthday, and the time is early in the morning. When I show the chart later in the second half, you can see the exact data, and that adds up really nicely based on his past. So I'm now confident to make some predictions about his future. First, let us look at his overall personality. He has Cancer Lagna with Moon in one sign and exalted Jupiter in Lagna, and I'm very confident that irrespective of how he comes across publicly, he's a very sensitive person. He's a very emotional, sensitive person with a high level of empathy. He can empathize with other people's problems and pain. So very highly sensitive and empathetic person. And also when the ninth lord is exalted in Lagna, and also his Navamsa also corroborates it, he's a very dharmic person. Somebody who's very committed to what he believes to be right. And when it comes to religiousness, he is a religious person, but again, I will explain why when I do the astrological analysis. But he can sometimes be uh, idiosyncratic. He can break some conventions. He may not respect all the traditions and conventions, but he has strong spirituality inside and strong love and fear of God within him. And he's a very dharmic and pious person, and he has excellent giving nature. Based on the chart, he'll be a very generous person who doesn't really, and also he's a highly detached person. He has in the Navamsa chart, he has Shani and Ketu in the Mokshasthana. Such people are inherently detached. They don't really care about anything. They don't want to accumulate a lot of things. So he's the kind of person, even if he accumulates a lot, he can eventually give it away to other people. He's that kind of person, very generous person, not clinging to things, and giving nature, and very very caring about other people. And even if his external persona is that of an aggressive person or a big hero, etc., he is actually a very sensitive child within himself. And also the one thing about him is, when people praise him in the film functions, etc., he is very reticent, and He seems very shy, and based on the chart, I don't believe that's a show. That's not a mask he's putting on. He is a reserved and shy person who who's not really very keen on being praised, or he gets amused by all those things genuinely. He's an inherently humble, genuine, authentic, dharmic, and very sensitive person. Oh, by the way, one thing is, uh, based on the charts, his chart and Sri Narendra Modi's chart have a nice matching. They will get along well. But when Yogi Adityanath takes over BJP in coming years, he and Pawan Kalyan have a lot of similarity in their charts, and they will really gel well. Yogi Adityanath and Pawan Kalyan. Now, in terms of his potential in politics, he in my assessment, in my honest assessment, he is going to stay in politics for several more years. He is not getting out of politics like his brother, his elder brother Sri Chiranjeevi Garu. He came into politics and quickly he folded his party and merged it in the Congress party and became a central minister for a few years, and then that was it. And he got out of politics. And this person, Pawan Kalyan, is not like that. He genuinely wants to do good to the society. But the thing is, based on his chart, because he's a very emotional and sensitive person, he's not really a great planner. So he's not really clear about what to do, how to do, etc. But he is very sincere in wanting to do good to the society, and he will remain in politics for several more years. At least the next decade, he should be in politics. But unfortunately, I don't see him becoming the chief minister of either Telangana state or Andhra Pradesh state. I don't see him occupying a powerful position, but he will always be a kingmaker. I know that in the last elections he had a dismal performance. Not only was his party washed out, I think they won only one seat. He himself, he contested in two places, he lost both the places. But the thing is, that's not really indicative of how his future is going to be. In the coming years, he will be a successful politician. His party will do well, but he will always be a kingmaker, not a king. So he will be supporting whoever is in power in the next two election cycles, but he himself will not be in power. In other words, he himself will not be the chief minister. And specifically talking about the next two election cycles, like I said, the last 2019 elections are not reflective of his fortune in the coming elections and the one in 2028. In the 2023 elections, or rather 2024, but I expect that they will be preponed. But anyway, 2023-2024 elections, he will have an excellent showing. He will improve considerably compared to 2019. But again, like I said, he won't be in power. He may be supporting somebody who's in power, and particularly in 2028 elections. That is when I expect that he will directly be supporting somebody who's in power. So my expectation is that in 2023 elections, Pawan Kalyan will end up supporting the party that is the main opposition party. He's unlikely. I expect, based on Jagan's chart, Sri Jagan Mohan Reddy's chart, I expect that Jagan will continue in power in 2023. So I expect that Pawan Kalyan will be part of a coalition that will be the main opposition party, and he will considerably improve his standing in AP politics in 2023 elections. And by the time of 2028 elections, well before then, Mr. Jagan Mohan Reddy's good time will end. And I believe that in 2028, Jagan Mohan Reddy will not be re-elected as the chief minister. It will be somebody else, most likely somebody from the BJP Janasena coalition, and Pawan Kalyan's party Janasena will be supporting that coalition. There will be a key member of that coalition, but he is unlikely to be the chief minister in that election also. So that is basically what I overall expect. And in my assessment, Pawan Kalyan and BJP should not try to instead of trying hard to defeat Jagan in 2023 elections, they should position themselves to become the main opposition party in 2023. Basically, try to eliminate the Telugu. It is most likely that practically speaking, they will tie up all the three parties, Janasena, Telugu Desam and BJP will tie up in 2023. But if they don't, if only Janasena and BJP fight in 2023, it is likely that they will end up being the opposition party and Telugu Desam will be wiped out. And in 2028, they will be well positioned to become the main party to fight Jagan. And because Jagan's good time ends, then they will come to power. So that will be the right course of action. But irrespective of what they do, just based on Pawan Kalyan's chart, I expect that he will be part of the main opposition party in 2023 with a considerably improved standing. And in 2028, he will be directly supporting. He will be part of the ruling coalition. And somebody from his coalition will be the chief minister. So that is basically what I expect. But like I said earlier, this person is really genuine. He is not fake like so many politicians that we see nowadays. He is genuine. He really wants to do good to the society. The only problem is he's a very sensitive person who gets carried away very easily. So and he doesn't have the clarity of how to do it practically. He's not a practical person. He's an emotional person. So if he gets somebody near him who's very practical and good at planning, somebody like Amit Shah ji for Narendra Modi, then he will really go places. So that is what that is how I assess Sri Pawan Kalyan's chart. Now I will explain all this astrologically. This is his birth data, and we can see that he has Cancer Lagna with Moon and Jupiter in it. So Cancer Lagna people are inherently sensitive, and Moon in Lagna makes it even more so. So he's a very sensitive and emotional person with a strong empathy. And the 9th Lord Jupiter in Lagna makes him very dharmic and pious. At the same time, the 8th Lord Saturn in the 9th house can show breaking rules, breaking conventions, etc. So he can be idiosyncratic at times, but he's basically a very dharmic person. And the Lagna Lord Moon in Lagna and the 5th Lord Mars, 10th and 5th Lord, he's a Yokaraka. Mars in 5th house make him very popular. Of course, 9th Lord is also exalted in Lagna. That also, this Gajgesri Yoga in Lagna also makes him exceedingly popular. And if you look at the Navamsa chart, the 9th is aspected by Jupiter in own sign, and that increases the indication of being a dharmic person. At the same time, the 9th Lord is in Badhakasthana, that too in evil sign Scorpio. So that is why sometimes he can break rules and dharma, what is considered as dharma. And Saturn and Ketu in the 12th house of Moksha, and the Lord being in own sign. That is really powerful. So he is somebody with a very high level of detachment. He doesn't really care about a lot of things. He can, by the way, I believe that when he was a teenager or maybe adolescent or early 20s, he wanted to take sannyas, and he along with a friend basically packed their bags and started for Sri Salem or something like that. I remember hearing in an interview. And that kind of things are possible with this combination. But the thing is, this Rashi chart, he shows so much fame, so he can't really be a sannyasi. But internally, there is a high level of detachment that is clear from this combination. And moreover, their dispositor being very strong and having Argala on them. And now, why does he have multiple marriages? The 7th house of marriage has Venus and Mars. Venus is Yokaraka in 7th, and that too Venus-Mars combination can show multiple wives, lot of passion, multiple wives, etc. And there is a parivartana exchange between the 10th Lord Venus and 7th Lord Moon, career and relationship. So that is why there may be a work link to his marriages. I believe 2 of his 3 wives were his co-actors. Let us look at the Dasha. If a planet is strong in Kendra, that planet will become the ruler of Kritika instead of Sun. That is the Tara Dasha variation of Vimshotri. So we will use that. And though Jupiter and Moon are both strong, Jupiter is in Gandanta. So we will use Moon as the ruler of moon as the seed for Tara Dasha. So I selected moon here. So based on the Dasha, Venus Dasha started his career. Venus is in the second house of wealth. It's a Karma Trikona, Artha Trikona and Karma Trikona. So Venus Dasha started his career. But it is really, oh by the way, and also Sun is the second lord. So his earnings improved then. He had a few big hits and his remuneration went up in this period. But this is the period that made him really big star. This is when he was known as power star. So moon is the Lagna lord in Lagna. And of course Mars Dasha, Mars is the fifth lord and Yokaraka in fifth house. So his fame and following really increased. So these were really good periods for him. These are the periods when he had his industry hits like Gabbar Singh, Authority Ki Daredi, etc. And also in Mars Dasha, Mars is so powerful. He is Yokaraka. So the fans of him and his brother, basically there was a split, and basically people started just supporting him, not the entire family and lineage. So that all that happened in the Mars Dasha, and Mars is a very fiery planet, so that's why. But the problem is his Rahu Dasha is about to start. Mars Dasha is ending soon and Rahu Dasha starts very soon. And Rahu is the 8th lord of working hard, obstacles, anxieties in the 10th house of career. So during this period there will be lot of hard work and anxieties relating to work. So we'll be working very hard during this period. Now of course, to see how successful he will be in career, Dashamsa is even more important. We'll see Dashamsa Dasha later, but let us look at the Navamsa Dasha also. In Navamsa, because Navamsa shows Dharma as well as your overall fortune. Again, Moon and Venus have a Parivartana, so both act as though they are in one sign. And compared to retrograde Venus afflicted by Mars, Moon who's alone and also more advanced in the sign, he is stronger. So again, Moon is the seed for Tara Dasha. So we'll use Tara Dasha variation of Vimshottari in Navamsa using Moon as the seed. So based on that Dasha, you will see that Venus Dasha runs from 2005 to 2025. And Venus is the Yogakaraka, 5th and 10th lord, career and fame. He is in the 7th house of relations. And there is a Raj Yoga, 4th and 5th lords together in 7th. So there is a Raj Yoga also between Venus and Mars. So this is a terrific period in terms of how his previous dharmas protect him. Navamsa shows the dharma you do now as well as how your previous dharmas are going to protect you now. So this is the period when he is protected by the dharma. So this is a great, glorious period for him till 2025. And of course, like I said, this is the period when he became a power star. He became the top star of the Telugu film industry. Now, after that, Sandasha will come till 2031. Sun is the 8th lord in 8th. You may think it's bad, but still he's giving Sarala Yoga. 8th lord in 8th is actually a good yoga. So this is also a good dasha, but this is a dasha when he'll be working hard for dharma. And Sun is the political planet, so he'll be using politics and authority to benefit the populace, and he'll be working very hard during this time for dharma. As I said, basically, this is the period when he is likely to be in ruling coalition at the state level and also at the central level, and he will probably have a good collaboration with Yogi Adityanath at the center. So this is a glorious period in terms of working hard for dharma. Now let us look at the Dashamsa, career. You can see that 10th lord Saturn is in 10th house, so Chaturasita Samadasha applies and that will dominate. So let us look at that variation instead of that Dasha instead of Vimshottari of Dashamsa from Dashamsa moon. That's it. Let's see. So Venus Dasha was from 94 till 2006. Venus is the Lagna lord aspecting Lagna, so that is why his career started then. I believe he came into industry in 1995. I forget what movie, Akadabaya, something like that. But yeah, I forget. Sorry. But his film career started during Venus Dasha, and Venus is Lagna lord. Lagna lord is always good for you. But the thing is, Saturn is the key planet. He is the 9th and 10th lord in the 10th house. So he is Yogakaraka and also 10th lord in 10th. So this Dasha was a brilliant period for career. This made him really, really successful. So this brought great success in his career. He had all these industry hits. I think Gabbar Singh was 2008 or so, I believe. So Gabbar Singh really suddenly, after a series of flops, Gabbar Singh was such a blockbuster. The remake of Hindi movie Dabang, a free make of Hindi movie Dabang. It made him such a huge star. He became the unquestioned number one in the industry, Telugu industry after that. And for the last few years, he's been running Sandasa. And if you look at the Sandasa, Sun is the fourth lord. This is the Bhava chart. Sun is the fourth lord in the 9th house. So when a Kendra lord is in a Kona, or Kona lord is in a Kendra, that is good. That is like a Rajayoga, a half Rajayoga. So this is like a Rajayoga, and Sun is the planet of politics and power, and he is in the 9th house of Dharma. So basically he will be committed to his Rajadharma during this period. But the problem is he is in an inimical sign. He is not in a friendly sign. And also he has no real link to the 5th house of power. 5th house shows power, and he doesn't really have any link with that. Only secondary Argala on it. So, and also Argala on the 5th lord. So these are all indirect links. He is not directly taking part in any powerful Rajayoga involving the 5th house of power. So that is why I think that he can be a kingmaker. He will be active in politics, and he will be committed to what he believes is right for the society, but he may not really reach the pinnacle. He may not become chief minister. He may be just part of ruling coalition. That is what I expect. Now let us look at the next two election cycles. First, let us look at 2019 May elections. So 2018 Tajaka chart, we will look at it. And if you see that chart, you can see that the 10th lord Mercury is debilitated. He is in Nicha, and he is afflicted by 2nd and 3rd lord Maraka, Saturn. So Maraka afflicting the 10th lord, debilitated 10th lord and the 10th house, aspecting it. It's not really that good. And also 9th lord of fortune, Sun, is not well placed, and he's in an inimical place. And Rahu is in the 9th house in Mankarka Sthana. So basically that's not good for fortune. And the 5th lord of power, Mars, is in the 6th house, Marka house from it. So not good for power. So based on various criteria, this is a very weak chart. So no wonder his nascent party had a poor showing. But that is a thing of past. Let us look at 2023. Whether the elections are as scheduled in May 2024 or earlier in 2024 or late 2023, I expect late 2023, but it will be after this date. So this is the chart that will apply. If you look at this chart, you will see that, Ketu in Lagna is not good, but the thing is, the 5th lord Saturn, though in the 8th house of disappointment, the 5th lord of power is in the house of disappointment, but he is in an Adhimitra Rasi. So it suggests that there will be disappointment, but at the same time, there will be there is something good, but not fully satisfactory. And the 10th lord Moon is in the 10th house, so that is good for career. Probably he'll have a big hit during that year. The 9th lord Mercury and the other 5th lord Rahu are having a yoga aspecting Lagna, so that is positive. So one 5th lord is in 8th, but the other 5th lord is in 7th with the 9th lord. So overall things are mixed, but the thing is, this is definitely a very powerful chart compared to the last chart that we saw, 2018 annual chart. So he will most certainly improve his position. Janasena party will do well. So I think other parties will do well to tie up with him, because his good time is running then. Don't extrapolate 2018 to 2023. Let us double check with the Tithi Pravesh chart also. If you look at the Tithi Pravesh chart, Lagna contains 8th lord Mars, and 8th has Sun Rahu combination, not good. But the thing is, Lagna lord Mercury is in the 5th house of power, and the 5th lord Saturn is in the 9th house of fortune, and 9th lord Saturn, Venus, is in the 10th house of career. So 5th, 9th and 10th are very prominent. So there are some disappointments in terms of Mars in Lagna and Sun Rahu in the 8th house, but there are some positive things. That is why he will either that is why, I mean, even though it is good, I think that he may not make the cut. Jagan may hang in as the chief minister, and also his chart has some strength. So Jagan will hang in, but Janasena and Pawan Kalyan will be part of the main opposition party, and Janasena particularly will have majorly improved showing compared to last elections. So that is basically what I expect based on both Tajika and Tithi Pravesh. Let us look at 2028 now. If you look at the 2028 Tithi Pravesh chart first, see the 9th Lord, Saturn and Rahu are in the 4th house aspecting 10th house. So the two 9th Lords are aspecting 10th house, and Lagna contains the 10th Lord Jupiter is in a friendly sign in the 5th house. Based on Bhavachakra, he is in 5th house in a friendly sign because he is Scorpio. So 10th Lord in the 5th house of power, and the 5th Lord of power, Venus, is in Lagna with Lagna Lord Mercury. So Lagna Lord and 5th Lord together in Lagna is a terrific yoga for power. So actually, just based on this, I would have expected that he will be the chief minister or deputy chief minister. But because the natal chart and Dasha is not really that conducive, that is why I said he'll be a kingmaker rather than being a king. But the chart shows being a king. And if we look at the 2028 Tajika chart also for double confirmation, we looked at Tithi Pravesh. In this chart, Lagna contains Lagna Lord, which is very powerful, just like the Tajika chart. That was Mercury, and here it is Mars. And the 5th Lord Jupiter is in Mola Trikona. He's in one sign, and he's in the Lagna based on Bhava chart. So Lagna Lord and 5th Lord are in Lagna. So Lagna is very powerful, just like the Tajika chart. And the 9th Lord Moon and the other Lagna Lord Ketu have a Rajoga in the 5th house of power. So again, this is a very powerful chart. So in 2028, 2029, he is very likely to be part of ruling coalition. So he will either become the chief minister or deputy chief minister, or be in the coalition from which the chief minister is. So this is basically this is the rationale. This is the basis based on which I said what I said. So I hope, I wish Sri Pawan Kalyan good luck. Like I said, he's a genuine. Oh, by the way, why is he so reticent? It will be fun to just see. See, if you look at the Rasi chart, second house of speech has its Lord in it, and Mercury, the Karaka of speech, is there. So such a person should be eloquent. Why is he so reticent? You should really look at the D27 chart. Nakshatramsa shows your subconscious instincts. So if you see the chart of subconscious strengths and weaknesses, the second house of speech has Saturn Rahu in it, 6 lords. So that is why he is such a reticent person. By the way, one more thing is the 8th lord is exalted, and 8th contains Moon Ketu. So reckless Ketu is in the 8th house of risk taking, and 8th lord Mars is exalted. So he's a risk taker, he's a gambler. He basically, his brother Chiranjeevi, he has Tula Lagna, so he may balance things, calculate a lot before he jumps into anything. But this guy, he jumps in. If he thinks this is the right thing and his heart tells him do it, he just jumps in. He doesn't really care about consequences. So he's really a that is why I said there are I won't go into the details now, but his chart and Yogi Adityanath chart. By the way, Yogi Adityanath also has a Cancer Lagna. So his chart and Yogi Adityanath chart have a lot of synergy between them. I believe when they start collaborating in maybe a few years down the road, they will really gel well. Okay, I think on that note I want to end this. Thank you very much. Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Sri Krishnarpanamastu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu. Yavad Bhumandale Sanatana Dharmo Vardhatu. Visheshatah Bhartakhande, America Avashe, Tibet Rashtre cha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.